What if a handful of individuals held enough wealth to buy every single NFL, NBA, and MLB team and still have hundreds of billions of dollars left over? We're counting down the 9 richest Jewish men and couples in California, a group with a combined net worth so high it's hard to wrap your head around. These aren't just billionaires. They are titans of tech, media, and real estate who have built unimaginable empires and, in many ways, built the modern world. You'll learn the origin stories behind their monumental success, from immigrant beginnings and college dorm room startups to the ruthless business deals that cemented their legacies. You'll also discover the surprising and sometimes controversial ways they're spending their billions to shape the future, funding everything from the search for extraterrestrial life and radical life extension to the very fabric of our political landscape. Stick with us as we count down from number 9 to the man who claims the top spot, a figure whose wealth is so vast it redefines what it means to be rich. Number 9. David Geffen. Kicking off our list is a man who defined the sound of a generation and mastered the art of the deal. David Geffen, with a net worth estimated around $7.7 billion, is a titan of the entertainment industry, whose influence has shaped music and film for over half a century. His journey to the top was anything but conventional. Born in Brooklyn to Jewish immigrants, Geffen's ambition was clear from a young age. After a brief stint in college, he talked his way into a mailroom job at the legendary William Morris Agency. The catch? He had lied on his application, claiming to be a UCLA graduate. When he discovered the agency would verify his credentials, he didn't quit. Instead, for months, he intercepted the mail from UCLA every morning, steamed open the letter to his boss, forged a reply stating he had indeed graduated, and resealed the envelope. It was an audacious move that perfectly captured the hustle that would define his career. From the mailroom, his rise was meteoric. He became a talent agent, nurturing artists like Crosby, Stills, and Nash. But Geffen wanted more. In 1971, he co-founded Asylum Records, releasing iconic albums from the Eagles and Joni Mitchell. He sold Asylum just a year later for what was then a staggering sum. This was just the beginning. In 1980, he launched Geffen Records, signing everyone from John Lennon to Guns N' Roses and Nirvana. Then, in 1994, he joined forces with Steven Spielberg and Jeffrey Katzenberg to create the studio DreamWorks SKG, which produced hits like Saving Private Ryan and Shrek. Today, Geffen is a major philanthropist and owner of one of the world's most valuable private art collections, proving that with enough guts and vision, you can not only achieve the American dream, but redefine it. Number 8. Mark Benioff. Our number 8 billionaire is a man who didn't just build a company, he started a revolution from a one-bedroom San Francisco apartment. Mark Benioff, the visionary founder and CEO of Salesforce, has a net worth of approximately $8.3 billion. He's the prophet of the cloud, the man who famously declared the end of software and then built what came next. Born into a Jewish family in the Bay Area, Benioff seemed destined for Silicon Valley. At just 15, he founded his first company, Liberty Software, selling video games for the Atari computer. The money he earned was enough to pay for college. After graduating from USC, he landed a job at a rising tech giant, Oracle. He spent 13 years there, learning directly from its legendary and demanding founder, who we'll be seeing later on in this list. Benioff was a star, becoming Oracle's youngest ever vice president by age 26. He had it made. But he was restless. During a sabbatical in 1999, he had an epiphany. Instead of selling clunky, expensive software on CDs, why not deliver it as a service over the internet? It was a radical idea that most people in the industry scoffed at. They called it a toy. Benioff left his lucrative job, started Salesforce in a cramped apartment, and went on a mission to create a customer relationship management tool that was accessible and affordable. The bet paid off spectacularly. Salesforce went public in 2004, and its growth has been astronomical. Beyond his business acumen, Benioff is known for pioneering a new model of corporate philanthropy. He integrated giving back directly into Salesforce's DNA with his 1-1-1 model, The company donates 1% of its equity, 1% of its product, and 1% of its employees' time to charitable causes. He didn't just change how businesses operate, he challenged the very definition of what a corporation could and should be. Number 7. Stuart and Linda Resnick. At number 7, we have a couple who built an $11.2 billion empire on things you can grow and bottle. Stuart and Linda Resnick are the masterminds behind the Wonderful Company, the agricultural powerhouse that brings you Palm Wonderful, Fiji water, and wonderful pistachios. Their story began in the 1970s when they started buying up farmland in California's Central Valley. But they weren't just farmers, they were marketers. Stuart, the business strategist, and Linda, the creative force, understood something profound. You can brand anything, even fruit and nuts. While other farmers just sold commodities, the Resnicks created eye-catching, sometimes controversial ad campaigns that turned their products into household names. They put pomegranate juice in its iconic curved bottle and called it a superfood. They turned pistachios into a mainstream snack with clever commercials. And they transformed Fiji water into a symbol of luxury, shipping it all the way from a remote Pacific island. Their business, the Wonderful Company, is now one of the largest farming operations on the planet. They are completely private, giving them immense control over their vast empire of orchards and bottling plants. However, their success hasn't come without criticism, particularly concerning their massive water usage in drought-prone California. The Resnicks are also major philanthropists, investing hundreds of millions of dollars into education and health initiatives in the Central Valley communities where their workers live. They are a true power couple who prove that with brilliant marketing, you can turn the bounty of the earth into a multi-billion-dollar fortune. Climbing to number 6 is a man who represents the ultimate Silicon Valley dream, an immigrant who arrived in America with next to nothing and built a product used by billions. Jan Koum, the co-founder of WhatsApp, has a net worth of around $17 billion, a fortune born from a simple idea: private, reliable, ad-free communication. Koum's story is a powerful one. He was born in a small village outside Kyiv, Ukraine, then part of the Soviet Union. His childhood home had no hot water, and his Jewish parents were wary of the pervasive state surveillance. In 1992, at 16, Koum and his mother immigrated to California, relying on food stamps to survive. He swept floors at a grocery store while teaching himself computer networking from old manuals. He eventually landed a job at Yahoo, where he met his future co-founder, Brian Acton. After leaving Yahoo, they both ironically applied for jobs at Facebook and were rejected. The inspiration for WhatsApp struck in 2009. Koum realized the new App Store was about to spawn a whole industry. He envisioned a simple app that would show your status next to your name, at the gym, battery low, etc. He incorporated WhatsApp on his birthday. The early version was buggy and almost failed, but when Apple introduced push notifications, everything changed. People started using the status updates as an instant messaging service. Koum and Acton pivoted, but held firm to their core principle, born from Koum's upbringing: no ads, no games, no gimmicks. The app's growth was explosive. By 2014, WhatsApp had over 400 million users. That's when the company that once rejected them came knocking. Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook acquired WhatsApp for a jaw-dropping $19 billion. Jan Koum, the immigrant who once stood in line for food stamps, famously signed the deal on the door of the same social services office where he used to collect his benefits. Number 5. Dustin Moskovitz. At number 5 is one of the youngest self-made billionaires in history, a man who was literally in the room where it happened. Dustin Moskovitz, a co-founder of Facebook, has a net worth of approximately $17.4 billion. While his name might not be as famous as Zuckerberg's, his role in creating the world's largest social network was absolutely fundamental. Born and raised in a Jewish family, Moskovitz's path crossed with Mark Zuckerberg at Harvard. They weren't just classmates, they were roommates. When Zuckerberg began coding the Facebook in their dorm room in 2004, Moskowitz was right there, becoming the company's first chief technology officer. He was part of the small group that dropped out of Harvard and moved to Palo Alto to turn their college project into a global phenomenon. In those chaotic early days, Moskowitz was the technical backbone. While Zuckerberg focused on the product, Moskowitz was the lead programmer who built much of Facebook's early infrastructure, scaling the site to handle millions of users. However, by 2008, he decided to leave. He departed on good terms, but with a significant chunk of company equity, a stake that would eventually make him one of the wealthiest people on the planet. But Moskowitz wasn't done. Teaming up with another early Facebook engineer, he founded Asana, a workflow management software designed to eliminate the chaos of modern office work. Perhaps more than anyone else on this list, Moskowitz is defined by his approach to philanthropy. He and his wife, Carrie Tuna, are architects of the effective altruism movement. Through their foundation, Good Ventures, they have given away billions, meticulously researching where their money can have the greatest measurable impact on humanity, tackling everything from global health to biosecurity. We're about to hit the top 4, and the numbers are just going to get crazier. The wealth of the next 4 men alone is enough to reshape entire industries. If you're finding this look into California's billionaire class fascinating, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss who's coming up next. At number 4 is a figure who needs no introduction. A man who built a digital nation with over 3 billion citizens and became one of the most powerful and controversial figures of the 21st century. Mark Zuckerberg, the founder, chairman, and CEO of Meta Platforms, has an almost incomprehensible net worth of around $233 billion. His story is the defining myth of the social media age. It begins, of course, in a Harvard dorm room in 2004. Zuckerberg launched the Facebook as a way for Harvard students to connect online. The site was an instant hit, and he soon dropped out and moved to Palo Alto to work on it full-time. Zuckerberg's vision was to create an online directory that mapped the real-world social connections of its users. His mantra, "Move fast and break things," defined the company's culture of relentless growth. He proved to be a shrewd CEO, making 2 of the most brilliant acquisitions in tech history, buying Instagram for $1 billion in 2012 and then acquiring WhatsApp for $19 billion in 2014, securing his dominance in photos and private messaging. Today, the company, rebranded as Meta, is a family of apps that form the social fabric for a huge portion of the planet. This unprecedented reach has given Zuckerberg a level of influence that rivals world leaders. However, this power has come with immense controversy, from the Cambridge Analytica scandal to accusations of influencing elections. In response, Zuckerberg has made his biggest bet yet, the metaverse. He is pouring tens of billions of dollars a year into building the next generation of computing platforms. It's a bet so massive it could either secure his legacy as a visionary or become one of the most expensive corporate failures in history. Number 3. Larry Ellison. At number 3 is the brash, brilliant, and fiercely competitive titan of tech who saw the future of data and built a software empire to dominate it. Larry Ellison, the co-founder and chairman of Oracle, holds a staggering net worth of approximately $251 billion. Ellison's early life gave no hint of the fortune to come. Born in New York City to an unwed Jewish mother, he was adopted by his aunt and uncle and grew up in a middle-class Chicago neighborhood. He was a bright but unfocused student, dropping out of 2 different universities before moving to California in 1966 with little money and no college degree. He drifted through various tech jobs, teaching himself programming along the way. In 1977, he stumbled upon a paper written by an IBM scientist describing a relational database. While IBM failed to see its commercial potential, Ellison did. He realized that companies would need a way to store and retrieve vast amounts of information, and this was the key. With 2 partners and just $2,000 in funding, he founded a company that would eventually become Oracle. They won a contract to build a relational database for the CIA, their first client. Ellison wasn't just a great programmer, he was an aggressive salesman and a ruthless competitor. He pushed Oracle to become the go-to database for businesses around the globe, crushing rivals along the way. While others on this list are known for their quiet demeanor, Ellison is famous for his larger-than-life personality. He's a licensed pilot, a tennis fanatic who bought the Indian Wells tournament, and a passionate yachtsman who has relentlessly pursued and won the America's Cup. His real estate portfolio is legendary, including 98% of the Hawaiian island of Lanai. Once briefly the richest man in the world, Larry Ellison's story is a testament to sheer force of will. A college dropout who outmaneuvered everyone to build the digital backbone of the global economy. Number 2. Sergey Brin. We now enter the stratosphere of wealth. At number 2 is Sergey Brin, the brilliant computer scientist who, along with his partner Larry Page, co-founded Google. With a net worth of approximately $255 billion, Brin is one of the chief architects of the information age. Brin's story is rooted in the pursuit of freedom. He was born in Moscow in the Soviet Union to a Jewish family facing systemic anti-Semitism. In 1979, when Brin was just 6, his family immigrated to the United States. His academic journey led him to Stanford for a PhD in computer science. It was there, in 1995, that he met a fellow student named Larry Page. They became fascinated by the mathematical properties of the World Wide Web and were unhappy with the primitive search engines of the time. They had a revolutionary insight. The importance of a web page could be determined by the other pages linking to it. They called their new algorithm PageRank. Working out of their dorm room, they began a research project nicknamed Backrub. In 1998, after securing a $100,000 investment, they incorporated their new company, Google. The name was a play on Google, the number 1 followed by 100 zeros, reflecting their mission to organize the web's infinite information. As president of technology, Brin was the visionary behind many of Google's most ambitious moonshots. He was the key figure behind Google X, the semi-secret lab responsible for projects like self-driving cars and Google Glass. Since stepping back from an executive role at parent company Alphabet, he has reportedly been funding secretive advanced research projects. He has also donated over $1 billion to Parkinson's research after discovering he carries a gene that increases his risk for the disease. And now, the number 1 richest Jewish man in California. If Sergey Brin was the visionary explorer of Google's future, our number 1 billionaire was its quiet, focused, and intensely driven architect. Larry Page, the other half of the duo that created Google, commands an astonishing net worth of around $277 billion. Like his partner, Page's fascination with technology started early. His mother is Jewish, and he grew up in a home filled with computers and science magazines. It was Page who first conceived of the core idea that would become Google. He had the initial insight that a page's authority could be ranked based on the links pointing to it, an idea that became the PageRank algorithm. When Google was founded, Page served as its first CEO. His leadership style was unconventional, known for being brutally direct and pushing his teams to think in terms of 10x improvements rather than small changes. In 2001, he reluctantly stepped aside as CEO, but he remained the soul of the company. It was during this period that he championed the acquisition of a small company called Android for $50 million in 2005, one of the most brilliant moves in corporate history. In 2015, Page orchestrated the creation of Alphabet Inc., a holding company for Google and other ambitious ventures. Since stepping down as CEO of Alphabet in 2019, Page has become one of the most private billionaires in the world. He has almost completely withdrawn from public life, reportedly spending time on his private islands. However, he continues to personally fund futuristic tech companies working on everything from flying cars to asteroid mining. As the company's founding CEO and the mastermind behind its core algorithm, Page is arguably the single most influential figure in how we access information. From Hollywood moguls to Silicon Valley titans, the people on this list represent an astonishing concentration of wealth and power. Their stories are a testament to ambition, innovation, and, in many cases, relentless determination. They have built the platforms we use to communicate, the software that runs our businesses, and the very landscape of California. Their impact is undeniable. Through their companies, they have shaped the modern economy, and through their philanthropy, they are tackling some of humanity's most daunting challenges. But their immense wealth also raises profound questions. What does it mean for so much power to be concentrated in the hands of so few? And what are the responsibilities that come with a fortune so vast it can move markets and influence governments? As these individuals continue to shape our world, their legacies will be defined not just by the empires they built, but by the answers to those very questions. What do you think about this incredible concentration of wealth? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe for more stories about the people shaping our world.